In today's episode, the amazing Maya Ford and Cynthia Washington will be interviewing Mr. Ryan Dunn of the Basilman Company. Take it away, guys.
Hello, my name is Cynthia Washington. I'm a part of Business Minds. Today we'll be interviewing Roger Steele, and the people that will be interviewing him is Brooke Smith, Janiyah Wilson, Isaiah Triplett, and Jordan Haynes. Take it away, Brooke.
So I'm Brooke Smith, and I'm going to start off with my questions. So first I have, how do you feel that only 3% of golfers are Black and only 1.5% are competitive golfers out of the 24.7 million golfers?
Wow, you came in with some heavy stats. That's dope. How do I feel about that? Obviously, I'm very actively trying to change it. I think that the game of golf, it's offered me, as far as things that could give you social mobility, that you could really enjoy. I don't think that there's anything that parallels the game of golf as far as how it allows you to engage with different types of people, the way it, can kind of reconcile differences during that time that you're together, and the fact that it can teach someone so much about you without you ever having to open your mouth. Looking at somebody's golf game, you can see, how hard they work at things, how patient they are, their temperament when they're frustrated, how they handle adversity, how they handle success. So I just think that, those numbers and my life experience, it really puts me in a place where I'm actively and passionately trying to change that, in the very near future. That was a great question.
Would you consider golfing as a workout for the mind or for the body for you?
It's actually a workout for both, right? So you think about it's a way more cerebral and like mental game than most of the other sports that I'm used to playing and a lot of my friends are used to playing. Every sport has its elements of strategy, but I think that the thing about basketball and football and baseball is like those are very reaction-based sports, right? So it's like something happens, you're responding to it, intuition takes over, and that's kind of dictating how you navigate the playing field. But in golf, everything is on you. You know what I mean? Everything is about when you're ready. It's about you being intentional about what you're trying to create and doing what you set out to create on your own time. And in that way, it parallels life a lot better, right? Because a lot of times, every day we wake up, we get to make decisions about how we're gonna, exert ourselves, the energy that we're gonna put into different things. And, I haven't found another sport from a mental perspective that allows me to tap into who I am from not only an athlete and a competitive perspective, but as an entrepreneur, you know what I mean, and as a teammate and as a family member. It really touches on all of those things. And then on the physical side, golf is also, it's a very strenuous movement. It requires a lot of mobility. It requires a lot of strength, especially in your core. And then usually when you're playing golf outside, you're walking the whole time. So you think about going on like a 4 or 5 hour hike. You know what I mean? So like every day that you play golf, you're really out there walking and moving around for that long. So it could really provide a lot of great, active, it gives you a lot of benefit on the activity side as well.
So how do you stay inspired through that? And also with golf, like you were saying, you can tell a lot about a person through how they react, how angry they get when they don't get the perfect, I guess, hole in one or whatever. So how do you stay inspired through all of like downfalls and upward and downward slope?
Yeah, it's I think that it's tough, but I'm sorry. It's sometimes it's tough to stay motivated, but I think that the thing that was true for me is that like my purpose really drove me through all of the no's, right? Like my whole thing was I've always been a problem solver. I've always cared about people. And when, I present ideas, when I come up with entrepreneurial concepts, or I think I have business opportunities in front of me, a lot of times those things have to do with helping people, right? And that's something that's been true to my core. Like even the name of my media company, it's called Hype, right? So Hype Media is the name of my company, and that stands for Help Inspire People Everywhere, right? So like everything about me is about helping people. So with that as my orientation, even if someone says no to me and I can't help people in this way, then I'm gonna go figure out a way that I can help somebody. You know what I mean? And that's really, that's what's gonna be true in life, no matter if you're a business owner or if you have a job. Like you're there to really add benefit to the people to your left and your right. And so because of that, I've always been able to keep a perspective where it's like, hey, people didn't like this idea and that's fine. You know what I mean? And maybe this isn't the right time for that. When I get a bit more knowledge and information and I have more resources, then maybe I'll come back to that. But what's the next thing that I know that I can be all in on and help people through it? And that's what I, kind of keep looking for in the world.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I really love your mindset and I love the way that you answered all these questions, but I'm going to give the other interviewers some time to ask their questions, and I want to thank you for your time. And I want to thank you for your time. I'm going to give the interview over to Janiyah.
Yo, I appreciate that, bro.
Why are you an advocate for people of African descent to play golf?
I'm an advocate for it. Well, first of all, I'm an advocate for it because, it's me. And I think that a lot of times we tend to want to lobby for people that we personally identify with, especially when, historically we've been at such a disadvantage in this country. My thought process is like, even if, like, let's say if I was white by chance, my mentality is that I always want to put out the most rage and fire first. You know what I mean? And I always want to help the people that really need help. And so, aside from me being Black and, identifying as Black and of African descent and wanting to help people that are like me, that have had similar experiences and shortcomings and disadvantages as I have, I really do feel like, the Black culture has been at such a disadvantage, and the fire that's kind of consuming our existence is burning so bright that we really need all hands on deck to try to help put it out.
What do you hope to accomplish if your goal of having more African Americans play golf is achieved? So like, what do you hope to accomplish after if that is achieved?
Yeah, so I think that the real opportunity here is that, if we get more Blacks and African Americans, like playing the game of golf, we're going to have a stage for much better dialogue between different cultures and races and different generations and different socioeconomic classes. And, that's really what I found. Like, I don't come from a lot of money, and you know what I mean? And I'm still trying to figure out ways to, make more money and continue to, architect, social climb, or however you want to put it. But during that time, the game of golf has given me the opportunity to network and be around some of the most powerful and influential people in the world. And so, with this game, that's the opportunity. If me and you both play golf, Janiyah, like it doesn't matter that you're your age and I'm my age and I make this much money, you make this much money, I'm from here, you're from there. We really bond around this game. And because of the nature of the game, we spend so much time together that by the end of it, I really know you on an intimate level. And that's why I get to make, these very important decisions about how our relationship is going to move forward. There's no other game that does that. And so I feel for the African American and, for Black people, it could be very advantageous as to, how we change the dynamics in this country.
What other interests and topics intrigue you besides golf?
So entrepreneurship is something that's like very important to me. I really spend a lot of time talking to my friends about it and, talking to a lot of successful entrepreneurs, looking at successful businesses, thinking of new, opportunities for businesses and, asking friends and people that I meet if they'd be interested in doing something like this or know anybody that's doing anything like this. So my brain is always working around opportunities to create entities that could help solve problems. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what entrepreneurship is, and that's who I am, is just someone that's always looking to solve problems. So outside of general entrepreneurship, I love, like activism, not just as like the loudness of it, but I just love feeling passionate and fighting for people, that are otherwise disadvantaged or disenfranchised and aren't really being spoken up for. I just, always think about myself as the dude that will fight the bully if they were picking on somebody in class. I also love other sports. I love basketball. I really like football, getting more into baseball, meeting a lot of people that play hockey. So I love, anything that has to do with athleticism and competition.
Do you travel a lot playing golf? And if so, what are the different places you have been?
Yeah, I travel all the time playing golf. There are so many golf courses in the world. I don't know if somebody got a stat on it, but I would be interested to know how many golf courses there are in the country. I'll look it up. But I mean, as far as just in the country, I've played golf in, man, a lot of the states, New York, Florida, Texas, California, Oregon, Nevada, Tennessee, Atlanta. I mean, every single state and every single city you go to, it has a golf culture there. So, the way that my Instagram account has grown, I would like to say that I have standing invites to like any state. If I just put on my Instagram story, like, hey, I'm gonna be in Idaho tomorrow, there's somebody that I've talked to from Idaho that would invite me out to a course that's near them, and then we will bond over the game of golf. And so that's one of the other advantages is like, once you really get into golf, there's always the community for you, no matter what city you go into.
My other question is, what what athletes have you worked with?
Athletes. So I haven't worked with a whole bunch of athletes, but I work with some pretty cool ones, or I've met some pretty cool ones. So one of my really, really good friends, his name is Aaron Hicks, and he plays for the Yankees, the New York Yankees. I don't know how many of you guys are baseball fans, but I mean, I've talked to DK Metcalf is a really cool one. I saw somebody here, last name is Metcalf. We talked about golf stuff. I've met CC Sabathia. He's also a player for the Yankees. Basketball players. I was in a project that featured Donovan Mitchell that plays for the Utah Jazz. Now that I'm signing with Adidas, it's opening up the opportunity to engage with a bunch of Adidas athletes. Cheyenne Woods, who is Tiger Woods' niece, who's a professional female golfer. Spent a lot of time with her. So, I mean, all of them aren't crossing my mind right now, but, there's some legends in there like Gary Sheffield, Reggie Bush, Derek Fisher, James Worthy. It's a lot to think of, but I've met some really, really cool athletes and legends through the game of golf.
Thank you. That's all my questions.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you, all the interviewers, and thank you, Mr. Steele. So, quick recap of today's podcast. We talked about inspiration. We talked about, never giving up and just trying hard. We talked about having fun and how the golf community can connect us all and how many different golf communities there are, honestly. Our interviewers today were Brooke Smith, Janiyah Wilson, and Jordan Haynes, and they interviewed Mr. Roger Steele. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode, and see you guys next week.
Haven't done it in a while. We normally send well wishes out there just for people in the community. I always send my well wishes out to the first responders. And so I'm just going to go around the Zoom room and ask everybody what well wishes do they want to send out there when people watch this episode. So I'll go off with, let's go. Is Cynthia on there? Cynthia, you still there? Cynthia, let's go with you and Amar.
Yes.
All right. Who you want to send your well wishes to?
I want to send my well wishes to the whole world because they're all in this coronavirus thing.
Okay.
I want to send my well wishes to anyone with corona because I know it's yeah, we go through a hard time. You never know what can happen. Yeah.
All right, and let's go to the interviewers first. Let's go to Brooke. Well wish, please.
I want to send a well wish to anybody out there who's going through any type of mental health problems or issues, or is just like not feeling like their best self right now.
All right. Naya, well wishes, please.
My well wishes. Sorry. My well wishes go to those who are like everybody else said, like those who are suffering from COVID right now. You know, just those who are having a hard time right now because it's almost been a year since we've been in quarantine. So just to those who are still suffering from COVID. So yeah.
All right. Jordan.
I would like to send my well wish to people who are working in the hospital, helping other people get better.
Okay. Heaven.
I would like to send my well wish out to honestly anybody who started off 2021 on a really bad note, or who has any family in hospitals with Corona and COVID.
All right. Thank you. And we're just gonna go around the room to everybody else. Kendall, who you would like to send a well wish out to?
I would like to send my well wish out to anyone who's doing virtual learning because I know it's so hard.
We didn't talk about that.
I give a well wish to the community.
All right, thank you. Isaiah, well wish, please.
I give a well,
Hello?
all right, but I give a well wish to people who lost their families during COVID.
Okay, Chloe and Christina, well wish, ma'am.
I'm Christina. My well wish go to anybody that's homeless or unfortunate that can't get supplies, to stay safe or whatnot.
Nice.
Okay, it's Chloe, and I send my well wish to anybody who runs into a person without a mask.
That's a great well wish. Lanaya.
My well wishes to the homeless during the pandemic.
Cool boy Zaire.
I send my well wishes out to all of the people who lost their jobs during COVID.
Nice. Maxwell.
That stuff was hot.
All right, Maxwell, you go on mute. Sean. Sean. Sean, are you there? Sean is not getting chicken wings at Topgolf. I'm telling y'all, and fried.
All right. I'm here. My fault.
Cup of water.
I'd like to send my well wishes to the home to our well, the time that we going through.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. And Mr. Steele, go ahead. Let's hear your well wish.
I had a couple friends that just had babies, so I definitely want to send my well wishes out to the parents out there that they understand that the opportunity that they have when they bring in life into the world to create, a different future.
Okay, awesome.